Hello and welcome in. This is Three Guys Before the Game, episode number 337, titled Flashbang. Flashbang, I said. See what we're doing there? Kent State, Golden Flashes. Their head coach got banged.
Yeah, he did.
Double T.
What did he say?
Well, he said one of the words you can't say on the radio or TV.
Well, but you can say those. I think it's how you say them, right?
Yeah.
Like if you personally impugn the character of the official and the particular call not made in that case.
I'd say this. I've seen worse. I was right there. I was party to it. I saw it. Yeah. I was just done. They were done. See, it was a double. Not only was it a double technical, double official technical, which makes it, Jeb Hartness got him first, and Gary Maxwell finished him. Tag team double T.
Is that why McNeil shot like 11 free throws?
Yeah, they just send him on there and just till your arms get tired.
Did McNeil also get? Who got the technical for West Virginia? Wasn't there a technical against West Virginia?
Oh yeah, that was Kedrian Johnson. Yeah, he had every right. He got tackled at midcourt, and they didn't call a foul. As you know, West Virginia does not commit fouls. Flashbang episode of Three Guys Before the Game. Oh, yeah, Hoppy is back. We'll get into that. Presented by the fine folks at Comax Business Systems, full-service Konica Minolta dealer. Go to Comax Business Systems at comaxwv.com. Presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. Download, get started, risk-free bet of up to $1,001 in free bets. Burdett Camping Center. They happen to be the only warranty forever RV dealer in all of West Virginia. You can visit them at burdettcamping.com, located in Winfield, Burdett Camping. And by West Virginia Game Changer, supporting, encouraging young people in West Virginia to build healthy, addiction-free lives. You can help West Virginia families, children become a game changer. Go to wvgamechanger.com. All right, so we're back and we're assembled. Good to have Hoppy back. He missed last week. He was on, as they say in the foreign countries, he was on holiday. And he actually left. I mean, it just wasn't one of those staycations, which he has. I mean, he's kind of mastered over time. Probably league leader in staycations, wouldn't you say, Brad? I mean, he's a big staycation, like first team all-conference staycation guy. Actually, he left the state, went into Texas, had some high-level meetings with Steve Sarkisian in Austin, talking strategy, transfer portal, how's he going to use Quinn Ewers. How do you say that kid's name?
Don't know.
Yeah, me neither. Ewers, right?
The rare transfer before he's played.
You talk about gaming the system. Was that beautiful what he did? My man gets a six-figure deal, NIL, at Ohio State, reclassifies to go there this year, just makes six figures, then said, hey, listen, weather's starting to change here a little bit, not that comfortable in Columbus, a little chilly out here. I think I'll go back. I think I'll go to Austin. So he'll six-figure bing-bang all over down there. So he's gaming the system. Bless your heart, buddy. Get after it, and we wish you the absolute best of luck. Meanwhile, Mountaineer basketball team, 63-50 victory over Kansas State. West Virginia concludes.
Kent State.
What did I say?
Kansas State.
Yeah. I'm looking at this box score. It says WVU and KSU.
Yeah.
My mind is wired into KSU. Anyway, Kent State, Golden Flashes, 63-50. West Virginia now goes to 9-1 on the season. It is exam week on campus. Well, that's what they call it. But like everything has changed so much now. You guys remember exam week?
Finals, yeah.
When you would pull all-nighters, and when it was over, when you took your last final, you were extremely fatigued. You didn't look good physically. You were a mess, and you need like about a week just to recalibrate because put all that stress. I don't sense that anymore. Like with online classes and you can take home the test, you can do what you want with the test.
Open book.
I mean,
What's a book?
To me, like, Back in the old days when we had finals week was finals week. I mean, you had to. These guys now, like, yeah, it's a take-home test. I've got to get it in by Thursday, I think. I mean, what is that? It's soft. That's what it is. It's doggone soft. Man, I used to come out of finals week looking like Casper the Friendly Ghost, man. I was like pasty, just like, oh, I can't move.
I could never do the all-nighter. I could never. Sometime around 11:30, I'd think, it's going to be good if I'm well-rested getting into this final. Well-rested will be good.
I'd pull all-nighters when I wrote papers.
Oh,
I couldn't study and pull an all-nighter.
Well, did you just wait till the last minute? What were you
all
doing?
the time. What do you think?
Well,
I mean, are you surprised?
Who am I asking there?
Yeah, really.
Did you wait till the last minute?
Are you surprised?
Great point.
I ever tell you about my senior year, Stories of the Sea?
Stories of the Sea.
Was that a class?
Yeah, took a class called Stories of the Sea.
Excuse me?
English minor. And so
Stories of the Sea.
Stories of the Sea.
Was
So
he
it's
like
like
a prize basketball recruit up
it's
there? What's he
like-
taking Stories of the Sea?
it's like Moby Dick and all these great stories about what? Well, it's senior year. I'm not really that concerned about Stories of the Sea. I mean, I'm going to be a broadcaster, right? I'm going to be a play-by-play guy. So I said my level of interest is with the basketball team going to the NCAA tournament. This is spring semester. So I didn't read any of the books. You think I'm going to read Moby Dick? Like, are you kidding me?
That takes forever.
Are you kidding me? So now, and I'll
So
tell
you're
you,
in a class called Stories of the Sea, and you refuse to read Moby Dick.
didn't have time. That was
works
just
out-
one of the
that
many
works out
stories.
well, yeah.
So you know what I did? I went and got the Cliff Notes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I dug in on those Cliff Notes the night before. And it's an essay. You go in there, and it's got like, compare the 3 themes to Moby Dick compared to Ahab. So you know me. I went like, okay, ready? Here we go. Give me 2 of them blue books. Give me 2. Give me 2 pens. Here comes everything I got, baby. In the symbolism of Moby Dick and Captain Ahab, and the water could be seen through a translucent disparity between the people. And I mean, I just laid it all out there. Got a B.
Got a B.
Got a B. Moved
Never
up.
read the books and got a B.
Absolutely.
I'd impugn Syracuse.
I don't want to hear any
University.
more about Syracuse. Tough school to get into. New house.
But anyway,
He took fencing and Stories of the Sea.
no, Stories of the Sea was when I was at Geneseo. Or, I mean, fencing was
Fencing?
I was at Geneseo. Anyway, I had a bad
Oh, you
dream.
weren't a D1 fencer?
No.
Oh.
Junior. Well, they're D1 now. Anyway, but I had bad dreams about that for well over 20 years
Oh yeah.
because of the way they tried to.
I still have the dream that I didn't graduate from WVU. And I
Still.
don't have enough credits.
Oh, yeah.
Still have that.
And-
Of course, that might be true. Don't check that. Don't check that.
Let it go. Let it go. All right, so the Mountaineers are off this week because of final exams. We may have taken a path sideways there. Resume action against UAB Saturday in Birmingham. I didn't realize this until yesterday, so it's one of 3 games to be played in that facility. Big renovation at the facility. They spent like $150 million. They're going to play 3 games. West Virginia is one of the 3. But, unfortunately, UAB fans may have something else on their mind because their football team is playing their bowl game at that time.
Really? Okay.
I think they love themselves a little bit more football than they do the basketball.
Good.
Yeah. So I don't think it's going to be, number one, a sellout by any stretch, and I don't think it's going to be horrifically difficult to play there. I got some intel yesterday that they had sold about 1,000 tickets. So I don't think it's going to be overwhelming, which is totally fine. It's still going to count as a road win if you can get the road win, but with the way things are going, we'll have to wait and see. We've got text questions coming in, comments, thoughts, various things. But the Mountaineers may be 9-1, and we might be looking at them going like, hey, 9-1's pretty good. 9-1's pretty good. The computer not buying. The computer's not buying West Virginia despite its 9-1 record. The net ranking, which is the big chunk of this, has West Virginia, as we record, at 56. At 56. There's 68 teams in the tournament, and as you know, there's automatic bids in the tournament that have to be dealt. Here's your situation. This is a good league again. Baylor's 2 in the net. Kansas 5. Iowa State, the surprise team in the country, 17. Texas Tech, another huge surprise. People didn't know what Mark Adams would do. He's at 19 right now. Texas is 23. Oklahoma is 38, and then it falls to West Virginia at 56, Oklahoma State 61, TCU 63. So just based on the computer net ranking, West Virginia would finish 7th as of right now, if you just want to play that number game.
Well, so far, and it's early, you haven't gotten into league play, but, I mean, when do you get an off night in this league? I mean, this league is better than it was. It looks like it's better than it was last year when Iowa State picked to finish last as so far as undefeated. I mean, you're not going to get an off night. I mean, this league schedule, Brad, is going to be brutal.
It is. That's no surprise, though, right? That's what it is every year. Iowa State will have some regression coming. They're much improved, but they'll have some regression coming. They're number 11 in the latest AP poll. They're not going to be a top 15 team this year, so regression coming. Texas Tech's the hard one to figure out because you talk about playing nobody. They have played nobody.
What do you
now,
mean
they're
by
destroying people, but they have not challenged themselves, which is a normal Texas Tech in the non-conference. You want me to read some numbers to you?
Go ahead.
The Ken Palm ratings?
Yeah.
Hold on here. Excuse me while I put my glasses on so I can see that.
Oh, yeah.
Small
Your
amount.
glasses look a lot like Buzz Williams at Texas A&M. You just go to the same optometrist?
Why does he go to the...
I was
these are
watching
just
him.
the store-bought version.
He wears some big Buddy Holly glasses. I was watching him play TCU this weekend. He has some big old glasses on.
Texas Tech. Here's the rank, the Ken Palm ranking of their opponents. 286, 330, 252, 333, 337, 292. Their next game's against 231. They've played 57th ranked Providence and lost, 10th ranked Tennessee and won by 5. Everybody else is in that plus 250 range. So that's surprising a little bit that the computer likes them so well, given that strength of schedule.
They're 1-1 in quad 1 games. They're 6-0 in quad 4. To your point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So quad 4.
Quad 4 being the easiest games.
Yes. So West Virginia is 5-0 in quad 4 games. That's more than normal.
It's way more than normal.
For West Virginia. They are 1-0 in quad 1 games. That's UConn's win. They're 2-1 in quad 2, and they're 1-0 in quad 3.
West Virginia in the past has had very few quad 4 games at all. And that was part of the reason that led them. Remember, a lot of people thought they were overseeded last year.
Yes.
That's part of why. They just didn't have any quad 4 games factored in there like everybody else did. So that's a drag on them right now.
Yeah.
But listen, I'll say this. As we've talked many times, some of this is about setting yourself up for conference. And is there regression coming for West Virginia? Yeah, absolutely there is. I mean, you can see that when you watch the team getting ready to enter into a very difficult league. But credit this team for finding ways to win games. We talked on Thursday, Tony, that yesterday's game was likely a flat spot off an emotional big win, great Coliseum crowd, and you're coming back on a Sunday afternoon against an opponent that doesn't have the same name brand recognition to your players as a Connecticut does. Well, that's what most of yesterday was, right? It was a flat spot for West Virginia.
Yes.
They just were not as engaged as they were Wednesday. That's going to happen periodically throughout the season. Credit West Virginia for finding a way to fight through that, going on that big run. You got double-digit win. You get out of there and you move on to the next, and you've lost just one non-conference game. This UAB game sets up really big. If they can somehow find a way to win this and then win the other games you're supposed to and get out of this non-conference schedule with one loss, that's a tremendous job for this group.
It would be a big boost. UAB is 28 in the net.
Mm-hmm.
They're 28. They're 6-2 overall. They are 4-0 at home on the season. 1-1 against quad 1 competition. 0-1 against quad 2. 3-0 quad 3. 2-0 quad 4. So this would help your ranking, West Virginia, if you're able to go in there and win this game.
They've played 3 top 100 teams according to Ken Palm. So this will be a step up for them. They're rated similarly to West Virginia in the Ken Palm rankings.
Talked to a Mountaineer assistant yesterday. I said, what's the deal on UAB? He said, Andy Kennedy will do something unorthodox. He said, just mark it down. He'll do something. He'll do something out of the book. Just that's what he's going to do. So Taz and Sean McNeil, I would think, are going to be really, really hotly pursued, perhaps in a unique or a different way than normal.
Tony, I think that's what, I mean, on the upside, you do have Taz and McNeil. And they've shown, I mean, especially Taz Sherman, who can create his own shots. If McNeil gets open, he can get hot. But in that Kent State game, together they had 46 points. Everybody else had 17. Okay. So you're glad you're getting the points from them, but at some point, other guys are going to have to score. In that Connecticut game, which was a great win, Taz Sherman plays 40 minutes. And McNeil plays 39-30. So, I mean, when you get in these tight games, and you got to have those guys on the court, but how long before they start to wear down? I mean, how many games can Taz Sherman play 40 minutes and score 27 points?
Yeah, great. It's a great point.
Well, you might have seen some of that yesterday with the free throw performance.
Yes.
Which I know we're going to get to, but that's where it goes.
Last two games, here's a scary stat. Last two games for the Mountaineers, Taz and Sean have produced 71% of the points. You can't keep going that way.
And when they're both out there, you got a great offensive advantage. But when one of them has to sit down for a breather, then you look around and go, where do the points come from?
Yes.
Yeah. But that's not new. I mean,
no, it's not. But I mean, but that's going to come home.
We talked about that beginning of the season. We've talked about it through 2 games, through 5 games, through 10. My prediction, we'll be talking about this midway through the Big 12 season too. It just that's what this team is. It's not going to change a whole lot from there. That's what this is.
That's what's scary.
Sure.
That's what's scary, that you don't look at someone and say, hey, here is someone who is bubbling and he's ready to burst and pop open. You don't see that. In fact, you're seeing a couple of guys going farther back rather than thinking that they're going to start scoring a bunch of points. Instead, they're pulling back.
You're talking about Bridges not taking shots.
I'm talking about Jalen Bridges. I'm talking about Isaiah Cottrell. They are not getting more active or more involved in the offense. I mean, the numbers play that out. I'll give you excuse me. Oh, no, I didn't bring it down.
This anyway, would be a nice one coming up for Jalen to get going. They do not or have not to this point defended the 3 well. One of the worst teams in the country in opponent three-point shooting efficiency, down in the 339 range. So Taz, Sean, and Jalen need to get it cranked up here. This would be a nice game for Jalen to find his stroke.
A couple of things about the Big 12. Oftentimes, we say, oh, my goodness, how tough the league is. Is that just looking, through Big 12 colored glasses? I don't know what color that would be. But the Big 12 has won 84% of its non-conference games. That leads the nation. The Big 12 is 7-4 against top 25 teams. The league is 20-8 in games against the ACC, the Big East, the Big Ten, Pac-12, and SEC. So it's not just rhetoric that it's a good league. Baylor and Iowa State are just 2 of the 6 teams that remain undefeated. Baylor's win streak going back to last year is now 15 games. How about this one? 50% of the Big 12 teams, that'd be 5, are in the top 22 of the net. The Big 12's average in the net is the best among all leagues. So it's really, really for real. And defensively, the numbers that these teams are putting up or not allowing other teams to put up is the best in the country. I mean, you talk about some games that are going to be in the 50s. Yeah, this league has some games set up here that we're going to go back and go like, whoa. Did you see some of the scores this weekend? Villanova?
Yeah.
Senator?
Under 40.
There's been surprises in this league. Baylor is unbelievable what they're doing. What they lost and then how they're playing and the way they locked up Villanova, which is one of the elite offensive teams. Villanova.
Okay.
So going back to Ken Palm, the adjusted defensive numbers, the lowest ranked Big 12 team in defense is 56th.
That's amazing.
Everybody is between 2 and 56.
That's amazing. Iowa State got into a stupid game with, was it Jackson State? Jackson State started 36 points?
Yeah. Yeah. And that was a letdown game for Iowa State coming off that Iowa game. That wasn't even their best effort.
Oh,
yeah, people
man.
guard in the league. Ken Palm has the league rated number 1 as well, as he usually does going in the NCAA tournament. So not surprised. League is what it is every year.
Okay. So if you hold that for the next 2 weeks and then your league play starts, what do you think that tells you as far as getting teams into the NCAA tournament with losing records?
You're gonna get it.
Can you get an 8?
They have before. I mean, you're starting to push it down there. 500 is the mark. You need to shoot for 500, and then 8 and 10 has found its way in before. So you got a shot. That's what you're shooting for. Can you? And I think that's why you got to build. You got to stack the resume with as many wins as you can in the non-conference, which West Virginia's doing, and then you're just going to have to find some wins, as you always do. This team's going to have to find some wins, and you shoot for 9, and if you happen to have a couple nights where you're on fire and you blister somebody, maybe you can sneak above that. But if I'm looking at this team, my expectation would be get to 9 and see how close you can get to the level there.
Got to win these next 2. This team's got no margin for error.
UAB in particular. And
you got to get UAB.
You can't give Youngstown back.
You got to get the Penguins. And you got to get the Blazers. You get those 2, and you go into Christmas or you go into the new year at 11-1. Okay, you still got Arkansas late in January that you got to deal with. So just get to 11-1, and then just start peeling it. I'm telling you what, these are going to be more like football games. I think these will be more like football games than basketball games when league play starts. In the sense that I think every possession will be a battle. I don't see these things being these loosey-goosey affairs. I think every game is going to be like a very, very just methodical try, like a chess match. Bang, bang, get this thing done. That's what I think. And that's the only way I think West Virginia can win.
I wouldn't say chess. I'd say more like wrestling, just like a wrestling. Who can hang on?
Grappling match.
Like a grappling match. But the other side of it is that you're going to get, the other teams have to play too. You're going to get some teams at home, at your home, when they're having an off night, or a guy gets in foul trouble, you get a couple calls, and then, like you said, you try to get your 8 or 9, you try to split your conference games, right? You try to win your conference games at home, pick off 1 or 2 on the road, and see where you are come March.
I think this, credit to the WVU staff at this point for being where they are.
Yeah.
They've squeezed the sponge so far because, let's face it, this team has some challenges, and they've been able to hide their warts with the one exception being Marquette. Other than that, they've got it done. So credit just for not screwing things up yet. You start taking a look at some of these teams out right now. There's a lot of teams out there. They've got 3 and they got 4 losses already. And I think if this West Virginia team had 3 or 4 losses already, it would be in some serious jeopardy as far as NCAA tournament.
You might be looking at out of the tournament unless you busted off an 11-win conference season somehow.
Right.
I agree with you. That's why I think they've done a great job, even with all of their flaws, of trying to figure it out and, most importantly, getting these wins and just advancing on to the next one. It's almost like a survive and advance from the very beginning of the season. And I think this group has done that in finding ways to get victories.
Christmas coming up. And Caesar Sportsbook would love to put you in an authentic NBA jersey. That's right. Place a bet with Caesar's Sportsbook, and they just might have an NBA jersey for you. Here's how it works. If you wager $100 on NBA games by the 19th of January, you will get a $150 gift card to use toward an authentic NBA jersey of your choice. You've got until January 19. Wager $100 total, and you're in for a gift card of $150. You can bet it before the games. You can bet in-game. And when you've wagered a total of $100, the NBA jersey is all yours. So check it out. Must be 21. Offer valid for new and existing users who opt in to this offer. Jersey awarded as a gift card. Options may vary. See full terms and eligibility restrictions at Caesars.com/promos. People do ask that sometimes. How do I sign up for it? Just go to Caesars.com/promos. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. All games regulated by the West Virginia Lottery. Please play responsibly. I was just thinking while I was reading that, Hoppy, if you were to get an authentic NBA jersey, what player would you get?
What player?
Yeah, what jersey would you get?
Let's See, I'd probably go chalk and get Steph Curry like a million other people, right?
No, you get Deuce.
Oh, that's right.
Or Javon even, but you get that nice
Deuce,
nice Knicks jersey.
I was asking about this the other day. Is Deuce still in developmental league?
Back and forth. Yeah, he's playing in the G League, doing well. See, their team is in Albany, so it's not hard for him to go both ways. So he can be kind of within distance. Yeah.
All right. I'm wrong.
Yeah. A little bit of both. But whatever league he's in, G League or NBA, that check be cashing.
Yeah, the check's good either way.
That check comes in there pretty good. You guys ready for some text questions?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, by the way, missed you. Had running various circles last week or so. How's Hoppy? Where's Hoppy? Hoppy, Hoppy.
Working on the retaining wall again.
Well, we heard. We reported last week on this program. May have been inaccurate. You had taken the week off. You had your back pinned up against the retaining wall, trying to hold it back so it doesn't fall.
You know, this time of year was a lot of moisture and
freeze, not freeze.
Yeah, exactly.
Dirt gets loose.
Yeah.
Texter, gentlemen, I know Hugs hates getting advice on free throw shooting. However, Tony is exactly right. Standing there repeatedly shooting free throws by the hundreds doesn't solve anything. I'm 58 and haven't played a hoops game that meant anything, in 30 years. I could make 70 out of 100 if I stand there with somebody rebounding. My brilliant idea? Stop practice at least twice a session and put someone who is in the rotation on the line. He makes 2 in a row or everyone runs 10 laps. You talk about pressure. You never want to let your wingman down. Do that throughout the season, and they'll get used to that type of pressure. Plus, they'll be in much better shape. Ben from Scott Depot.
You know, Tony, everybody has advice on what to do about free throw shooting, and Huggins, whenever he's asked about it, says, well, the practice facility is there. They know where it is. They can go shoot. You're supposed to shoot 100 after practice, but they've co-opted the managers now, and the managers are in on the scams. They don't have to shoot 100, but, you know, whatever. The point, I don't know what they should do, but it's gonna catch up with you. You know, in these 51 games, he's 57, 54 games, Brad. And you can't put it all on Taz Sherman, okay? Because Taz, if he's playing 40 minutes like you said, he's gassed. He's just happy to get a breath. You want him to make the free throws. You think McNeil should be solid, but he wasn't good against Connecticut. But other guys have to make free throws too. It can't just be on Taz, who's going to get to the line more than anybody else.
12 of 20 for Taz and McNeil. 60%. Give me the over on their combined free throw percentage being better than 60 by the time we get to the end of the year.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to get a little better.
Yeah.
It's going to be all right.
I mean, Taz started yesterday at 87, third best in the Big 12.
So Taz and Sean struggled in the game immediately after playing all but 30 seconds of the game combined in a highly physical, highly emotional game, and they struggled from the line.
Sure.
It'll bounce back.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
But other guys, Brad, look at Connecticut. Jalen Bridges, 0 of 2. Kedrian Johnson, 1 of 2. Gabe, 2 of 8.
Well, I mean,
for Gabe, that's pretty good.
Yeah, Gabe is what it is. I mean, the concern to me, it's not Gabe missing free throws because Gabe that's not his deal. He's going to miss free throws if he's at the line. It's when Sean and Taz just can't because they're 90% shooters. They'll bounce back.
Hop,
not worried about this.
You weren't listening here. I'm sure you didn't pick up the latest episode, but last show I called for a hypnotist. You think I'm funny? You think I'm trying to be a funny guy? I'm not trying to be a funny guy.
I mean,
I'm being serious. Hey, by the way, you would think someone listening either is a hypnotist or knows a hypnotist.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, does anyone know a hypnotist or is a hypnotist? Text us at 304-404-4083. 304-404-4083. Give me some data and proof that you can hypnotize someone to become a better foul shooter.
You can, you know what'll work?
It's unbelievable.
You know, I'll tell you what will work. Hypnotism and more practice.
They're going to shoot more free throws. They're going to get the line. Good shooters are going to make foul shots. Give me the over on 60% over
for the team.
No, for those two, and they'll take the two. They'll have the 2 most attempts on the season.
What's your number for the team?
I don't know. I'm worried about those 2 guys.
As a team, you got to be better than 60%.
Oh, you will be.
As a team.
Yeah, you were last year. Nobody want to talk about free throws last year because everybody was making them.
Well, they're right,
Now
because
we
they
wanna talk
made them.
about
Now
free
you're not
kicks.
making them. I mean, of course you talk about it.
Hypnotist. Jeff checks in from Raleigh County. I don't really have any thoughts to share other than my dear old dad is skunking me in the deer department. Figured you'd all enjoy seeing it. He sent me a picture of his dad with this big, nice buck. Big, wide rack on that thing. So, congratulations.
Yeah. Scopes.
Dave in Richmond checks in. This text may be long, he writes, but hopefully worth it. So the talk of the upcoming late kickoff for the bowl game reminds me of 2014 when we played Texas A&M. My wife and I were on our honeymoon in Paris that Christmas break. She's a French teacher. And one of my prime concerns was finding a place to watch the game live. After much research that she had her students do, there exists one bar in all of Paris that showed American football and stayed open late enough. We found the place, sat at the bar, and waited for the 12 to 12:30 a.m. kickoff. And I thought to myself, this is great. We're the only ones in here. Won't have to deal with jawing from opposing fans. It's late, but it's going to be nice. Soon became friends with the friendly Parisian barkeep. I explained how great the state of West Virginia was. It should be noted that most Europeans know of West Virginia specifically because of country roads. And I explained how we play that when we win. So he got it ready on the sound system. Well, a couple of minutes before kick, about 20 Texas A&M fans showed up.
Oh.
Are you kidding me? 3 question marks. And it's a relatively small bar. So here I am, myself at a bar in the wee hours surrounded by Texas A&M fans in the middle of daggum Paris, France. And we lose. The entire time the barkeep became more and more aggravated with the behavior of the Aggies. So much so that when the game was over, after 4 a.m., and they started chanting and cheering, he put on country roads anyway and drowned them out and drove them off.
Nice.
It was a tough loss, but the most memorable one for me. Thanks for your time and all for your hard work entertaining us. The attached picture is me sitting at the bar in Paris.
Oh,
He sent me a picture. And I had a couple cold beers in front of him. Had some food there, and he watched a ball game with doggone Texas A&M people.
That's a good story.
Isn't that game where one of their guys on their staff plowed into one of our
I think that's right.
coaches?
That was something.
Punched one of our players.
Something did happen weird.
Oh, yeah, punched one of our players. And then that was when Kevin Sumlin was a coach. Nathan from Charleston, South Carolina. Last episode, you mentioned the level of hatred for Connecticut. Personally, mine stems from their fan base seeming to have an air of arrogance, thinking they are better people than us. When I moved down here, I had a former coworker from UConn actually make a disgusted face and act like I was a second-class citizen when he found out I was from West Virginia. I have never felt that level of disrespect from any other fan base, including Pitt fans. When Country Roads started playing, I was hoping we had made his night a little sad with the Huskies losing. So there you go, Senator. Once again, I think it's the Northeast Corridor. What we tried to get to last show, why were people so revved up for that Connecticut game? Why did they enjoy it so much? Would you agree, Senator, that perhaps it's a little bit of that?
Could have been. For this particular listener, it was.
Andy in Charlotte writes, guys, more of an observation thought while listening to the show on Friday. I think us West Virginia fans are suffering from TPPTSD. That is Transfer Portal Post-Traumatic Stress Syndrome. Legendary NFL kicker Matt Barr, nice Matt Barr reference, Brad, once said, the joy of making a kick is nowhere near the anguish of missing a kick. The joy of getting a Lynn J. Dixon from Clemson is nowhere near the disappointment of losing a Tyke Smith. We're so invested as fans and simply can't believe that someone wouldn't want to trust the climb. We take it personally. Be patient. Gone are the days of seeing a team come together over 3, 4, and 5 years. It ain't happening. Neal and company obviously realize what is happening, and I'm sure have a plan to backfill these positions. P.S. I feel like Hoppy when he pulls out quotes. Major exception, however, is I'm quoting a kicker and not some 17th century French philosopher. Oui.
Hey, Tony, Brad, it was, in fact, the Liberty Bowl, Texas A&M student assistant Michael Richardson was kicked off the team because Richardson threw an elbow at WVU's Andrew Bowie when he was pushed out of bounds. Additionally, Richardson threw a punch at the back of the head of quarterback Darryl Worley as he pedaled out of bounds.
I remember
that.
that.
It was 2.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Coach Sumlin dismissed the young man from the program.
At halftime. He didn't come back to the field in the second half.
By the way, that was a good Matt Barr reference. He took my line from me. It was a good Matt Barr. You don't see Matt Barr quoted often.
He only had one bar, didn't he?
On the helmet? Yeah.
On the helmet.
Weren't they the family of
Yeah,
kickers?
Chris Barr, Matt Barr.
All wore one bar.
Yeah, they did. One bar family.
Well done, Andy.
3 guys before the game, brought to us by the Burdette Camping Center. Only warranty forever RV dealer in all of West Virginia. Visit them at burdettecamping.com.
Richardson did apologize later.
That'd be a good story now. Where is he now? Anyway, fine folks getting ready for the holiday season at Burdette Camping. You can check them out on the website, burdettecamping.com, and visit them in Winfield. Whether it's parts, sales, service, they've got you covered. More and more inventory moving in. You know, COVID has slowed a lot of, obviously, I don't need to tell you folks, delivery. And more inventory coming in. So if you've got it on your noodle that it's time to RV, then definitely check it out. Received a single-spaced letter and package in the mail. Tony, allow me to introduce myself. My name is David Sutherland, class of 84, mechanical engineering grad, originally from Charleston, George Washington High School, 80 class, currently living in Frederick, Maryland. Loyal fan of 3 guys, couldn't resist reaching out, learned from one of your podcast episodes that you play the banjo. Let me be the first to say, as a fellow banjo player, welcome to the club. We banjo players need to stick together, lest we be canceled because we think dueling banjos is cool. It's likely you've heard me play the banjo. 1984, I co-wrote the lyrics and produced the now infamous Morgantown song, where I played the banjo and the mandolin.
At the same time.
How the Morgantown song came to be is a long story that would be better told over a beer. Therefore, I've decided here to spare you your valuable time, my fingers, and the printer cartridge.
What was the song?
The Morgantown song.
It's called the Morgantown Song?
Yeah. Yeah, Eric McGuire always used to play that. You remember that? Well, look that up. I recently moved from one side of Frederick to the other while packing, came across a spare, unused, like new banjo strap. Please accept it unconditionally as a token of my appreciation for not just 3 guys, but the work that you've done. Whether you realize it or not, your podcast provides a community service in the aftermath of a West Virginia loss. Your calming mantra that nothing is as bad as it looks, nothing is as good as it looks, walks fans that may need it, me included, back from the ledge. If that's not a community service, then what is? I included a photo taken at Woodburn for my daughter's graduation from the School of Business and Economics, class of 2018. Thank you so very much. As a bonus PS, I included my patented, guaranteed to sound like Earl Scruggs in 90 days banjo lesson that is guaranteed success or your money back, with the disclaimer that you must practice 7 days a week for 25 minutes per day. In 90 days, you're sounding like Earl Scruggs.
Well, you can't do that because your dog doesn't go to the bathroom that long.
This thing,
get more dogs.
Look at this thing. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this strap. It's absolutely beautiful. Much better than what I have now. That's real leather.
But he's talking about plucking,
Scruggs.
and
No. He's talking about rolls, and I play claw hammer.
You claw hammer.
But
right?
what I'm going to do is, David, I am going to contact you, and I need to get this thing going with the banjo. I might make a transition. You can certainly do both. You can play Scruggs and claw hammer.
I know, but don't you think that Scruggs style, which is picking, doing like the Travis pick, is much
You're just
harder?
rolling. You're rolling.
I understand that.
Strumming is claw hammer. Yeah, we'll get into it. Sugar from Washington, D.C. writes in, guys listening to the UConn post game on 2 guys. On free throw shooting, I agree, TC, it needs fixed. I challenge you to interview shooting coach / ace Jimmy Clayton on the subject. It's about short, repetitive motion. I'm willing to bet he could improve our team's free throw percentage significantly no matter how tall or short they are. I love the show. Tim in St. Albans. Hey, dude, if it was up to me, I'd have you in. It's not up to me. So that won't happen. I totally believe in those guys. Totally believe in those guys.
Baylor is the new number 1, by the way, which you expected.
Texter writes in 3 or possibly 2 guys. What does the football team have to do in the bowl game to show that the program is still climbing?
Win.
Is it just win, baby? Mix in the younger players, both, something else?
Win.
Win.
Yeah, that's fair.
Win.
I'm really extremely interested to see who isn't playing. Both sides.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be, that's going to be important. And then there's another piece of that. Who isn't playing physically and who emotionally doesn't care? Right?
Yeah.
That's the other piece of the pie. You can't tell. You don't know until the game is played.
You do, and you just hope with the guys that are there, when they get there and they get into the game, the juices get flowing like it did last year at Army. We've talked about that many times. There's multiple examples of the guys that are there and want to play. That game turns into a game they want to win, right?
Yeah.
We've been part of, we've been there for celebrations on the field and in the locker room for games that from the outside looking in, others would go, I mean, who cares about that bowl game?
Right.
So you get into that game, and those guys that are there and are playing generally care and try and win.
Have you ever been to, and you're right, I mean, we tend to dismiss some of these things, and some guys maybe don't want to be there, but have you ever been to a bowl game where the winning team said, well, okay, whatever.
We'll just walk off.
No, they are thrilled.
Right.
Because they're competitors and they won the game. They are the champions of that particular bowl, and they're holding the trophy, and everybody's happy. So it's a big deal.
So that's my hope, Tony, that you get the guys that opt out, they opt out, and the people that remain go, and you get a really strong, good effort from the guys that are playing.
By the way, Texas Tech cracks the top 25 at number 25.
Yeah.
Now, we'll get into it further. My concern is just Minnesota's size. When teams have gone big against West Virginia and lined up and run it, that's been a challenge.
That's what they're going to try to do.
Sure.
They're going to try to absolutely road grade West Virginia. They got guys that are like everyone's Shrek size. I mean, like 9 feet tall, 462 pounds, and they're just going to try to road grade West Virginia. So for West Virginia, it's imperative that they don't give the ball to Minnesota, right? West Virginia needs long drives, sustained drives. You'll see some huddle, I would think, from West Virginia. Try to drain this thing. Don't let them have the ball.
And score. Right.
Yeah,
see if you can get up, finish the drive, score, get up, and then make them. Okay, fine. You want to run? Fine, run.
Yep. Jason Dallas. Afternoon to you, gentlemen.
And if you have to fake punt, make sure that you don't know you're going to fake punt, and the other team doesn't know you're going to fake punt either. Have no one know you're going to fake punt. No one. Not even the team that fake punts.
How about that?
Because that's the best. It's the best way to fool everybody.
Jason writes in, would
That's
Brad...
an Army-Navy reference.
Army-Navy reference.
Yeah, Army-Navy.
Yeah.
When she was interviewing him after the game, she was stunned when he said, like, we didn't have a fake on.
That was great.
He just snapped. I just ran with the hell. That's
Players
like old
make
school.
plays sometimes.
That's right.
What do we
Players
always say?
make plays.
Right? I mean, coaches are smart. You do this, you diagram, you game plan, you break film down, you give detailed scouting report. Sometimes guys just make plays, and it works out. There you go.
He was great. He was great. And then the center said, I couldn't hear what the call was, so I snapped it.
I
love that.
The fake.
Like, and you could tell he wasn't expecting because his hands were down here, and the thing came in. I'm like a rocket.
Is that what you want from a military guy, though? I wasn't sure if they said shoot it or not shoot it.
You know what I want? I want what that linebacker did.
Well, they solved the problem.
Improvise. Solve the problem.
I mean, you want problem solvers. Those guys solved the problem. 4th down, needed first down, Hoppy.
Yeah.
They solved it. Okay,
Exactly.
here's what we'll do.
Jason writes in,
sometimes things go haywire in the field.
That's right.
You just got to make plays.
I think Eisenhower said when the shooting starts, all plans. You have to plan, but when the shooting starts, all plans go to hell. So you got to improvise, which is exactly what they do.
Yeah. Jason would like to know, Brad, what goes into the luck statistic from Ken Pom? I noticed that West Virginia ranked 72 prior to yesterday's game, and my short time as a Mountaineer and having read a couple of John Antonik's books, I can't believe we'd be anything but dead last in something where luck is involved.
That's a good question. Basically, just I mean, he defines. I'll read directly from him. He defines it as It's the deviation in winning percentage between a team's actual record and their expected record using a formula. So it's just regression to the mean that we always talk about. If you're winning a bunch of close games, it's going to come back the other way. He just couches it that way. It's just regression back to the mean.
He concludes by saying, last thing, just a heads up, you might notice some weird numbers regarding your listeners again when we go back and see how many people are listening to the show. I went back and I listened to the episode after the 35-2 free throw game in the magical Fog at Fog Allen, cleverly titled Kansas and Baylor Review. If I'm not mistaken, the Fog was wearing a striped shirt that day and blowing a whistle. Good episode. Tony offered Nathan Adrian 62 cents per diem for gas money on top of the apprenticeship he was already getting from WVU's fastest growing podcast. Always a delight. On to the Blazers. Sure. Tony, next texter, you said that Taz Sherman was the best scorer since Deshaun. No, it was not a great team, but don't forget about Casey Mitchell. Casey Mitchell could really score it. There's no question about it. But there's a night and day difference between Taz Sherman and Casey Mitchell. Taz Sherman is averaging over 20 points per game. He went into last night's game 10th in the country in scoring. Casey Mitchell never scored more than 14 points per game. In fact, he was a little bit under 14 points per game in his second and final season at West Virginia. Taz Sherman, and Hugg says this a lot, and he's exactly right. He finds different ways to score. He's not just a shooter. He is a classic scorer.
Mm-hmm.
And he's starting to warm up from three-point range, but he posts up. He can score mid-range. He's doing a fabulous job. So next to Deshaun, he's the best scorer West Virginia's
Add in
had.
the usage rate, and I've used this stat before. He's top 2 or 3 nationally in terms of usage rate of how much he's having to carry a team in scoring. So you've got to add that in too. It's early. This is historic what he's doing from a points production standpoint.
He hit a shot yesterday, and I don't know if time was running down on the clock or he was off the dribble, but he was in the middle of the court, and he drove right, and there was heavy pressure, and he faded away, hit about a 15-footer fading away. Remember that, Tony? On the baseline on your right side?
This group, he and Sean have made, I can't remember as many difficult shots in a long, long time. I mean, they make difficult, hard shots. I mean, they're hitting fadeaways on the baseline. They're catching and shooting. And on inbounds, just jacking the shots up. I mean, they're making hard shots.
Yeah, we saw that last year,
shots.
too. I mean, Taz is 20th nationally right now in percentage of shots taken for a team. He's taking 34% of West Virginia's shots.
Yeah. I get it. And
What would you do if you were defending West Virginia?
Double him. I'd double him every single time he touched the ball, because I'm just going to throw my cards out and say, okay.
Let somebody else beat you?
Yep.
See, I might go the other way. I might try and take out McNeil and limit Bridges and say, go ahead. You want to score 25? Go ahead. I'm taking McNeil away.
He might get 40, though. He might not get 25.
He might, but I'm going to take my chances because no one's been able to because here's my point. No one's taken Taz out yet. Teams have found a way to be able to limit Sean a little bit more. I might go that approach.
I would double Taz. Every single time he touches, I'd run somebody at him, run another person at him, make him give the ball up, and say, okay, guys, the rest of you guys, can you score or not? That's what I would do. And if they expect Andy Kenny to do something uncharacteristic on Saturday, that would probably be in that category. Texter, hello, Sydney, living in Atlanta by way of Harrisville. May be remembered as the golfer from Ritchie County that played at UAB. With West Virginia playing my alma mater this week, it makes me wonder what could have happened if West Virginia would have started a women's golf team when they went to the Big 12. I could have and would have certainly chose West Virginia if that was an option. There would have been no greater pride than representing my home state as an athlete. Anyway, I'll be at the game Saturday, and as always, it will be Let's Go Mountaineers. Thank you, Sydney. Stop by, say hello. Texter, 2 guys. This is Mike from Pittsburgh. See, people, you haven't been around a lot. They call you 2 guys. Shane Lyons has done an unbelievable job with West Virginia's facilities across the department. They say if you're not building, you're behind. As it relates to football, what's next on the wish list? Love the show. I think the next thing on the wish list would be more suites, because more suites makes money. And I think whatever they do next time, it has to produce revenue. would be the next expansion in the stadium. That would be my guess. Senator, put your number hat on. Rick in Mercer County. Bob Huggins sits at 909 wins after yesterday. Does he reach 921 this season and take over third place all time over James Calhoun? Needs 12.
I don't know that you get there, because that would mean you need 10 conference wins if you win your next 2. I guess you could get 1 in the tournament, right? 1 in the Big 12. That's going to be hard. That's going to be really hard to get there, I think.
Yeah. Arkansas, too. You got that other. That's one more opportunity.
There's one more.
Yeah. Texter, hey, 3 guys, new-time listener, long-time West Virginia fan from Birmingham, Alabama. Someone who lives in the South. Everyone here lives and dies SEC football. Most high school recruits that come out of the South are mostly only aware of Southern schools. With that being said, I've been fascinated by how well the Coach Brown and his staff have been able to recruit in the South, mainly Florida, Alabama, Georgia. What do you guys credit this to? And if you were recruiting in the South, what would you pitch? What would be your pitch for WVU? Thanks, guys. Love the show. Keep up the great work. I think the reason, it's always relationships.
Yeah.
And that staff has relationships down there. So as a result, that's why they're probably having, success in selling it. And what would be my pitch for someone to come to West Virginia University? I have a lot of things that I would go with.
Mine would be that, and my guess is you're not talking about 5 stars deciding between Alabama and Oklahoma, right? I mean, is that my pitch would be, we're building something special here. You can be part of it. This is a family atmosphere. You're going to be comfortable here. This school has a great tradition and a great fan base, and you're going to get a good education, and there's going to be people here who are going to help you get a good education. That'd be like the 4 or 5 things.
Pretty basic.
I'd pitch that to the student athlete and also to the parents. And relationships. I mean, Tony, we've said this many times. How often do you talk to players and they say, well, Coach so-and-so was on me early, came to see my game, was there for me. Those assistant coaches doing that work are absolutely vital.
I would use case study examples. If I'm down south in Alabama, I get the Pat White story, and I get my Southern guys that have done well and said, hey, how would you like to be this guy? And I would teach them all about once a Mountaineer, always a Mountaineer, and show it, what that really truly means. Lay those things out there. I'd sell them that, time comes in life where you've got to step out of your comfort zone and grow up. You can stay down here, but everything you know is everything you know. You come up there, and you'll have a whole perspective on life.
Yeah.
Pete in Pennsboro. I hear a lot of discussion, some from you, more from friends and fans, about Neil Brown's team not having an identity. This is an imaginary problem. If we were winning more, it would never come up. We have all watched the New England Patriots do nothing but win for 20 years now. What's their identity? They adjust their game plan each week, take away from their opponents what they do best, and attack opponents with something they struggle to defend.
I think the identity issues stem from when West Virginia struggled, and Brad, we talked a lot about this. What was their strength? What would they go to?
What do you lean back on? Yeah, I disagree. I do think it is an issue. It's that you haven't been able to identify what West Virginia does well on the offensive side of the ball.
On a consistent basis.
What he's saying there about New England with Belichick adjusting the concept every week, that's right. That's always what they've said about Bill Belichick. But you also had the greatest quarterback of all time. So when you were struggling or were not playing well, what would you do? Let Tom Brady throw it to Rob Gronkowski, and that was what their identity was. The best quarterback of all time would lead you to a victory. That was the identity. West Virginia just doesn't have that. 3rd and 3, what should West Virginia do? 3rd and 5, what does West Virginia do? 4th and 4 from midfield, what does West Virginia go with? I think that's what, I don't know about his friends, but when we refer to lack of an identity, that's at least what I was referring to, is what do you hang your hat on when it gets tough and you absolutely have to make a play?
Now, that got better, I think, as the latter part of the season.
Yeah, started to run the ball a little bit better. Mm-hmm. Pete from Pennsboro concludes his 2-part question with this. Hypothetically speaking, if you had a neighbor that let their dog take a deuce on part of your property in an HOA-like neighborhood consistently, would you say something to them or let it go?
Say something.
I would defer to the dog expert, bathroom expert on the panel. So you can go ahead. I mean, that's kind of your wheelhouse.
Yeah, you got to say something.
How would you say it?
Well,
It depends on your relationship with that person.
Yeah, you would. You do it differently. You go a bunch of different ways. One tactic may be you go out and get the deuce and put it into a doggy bag, collect them for about 6 days, and then you bring them to their porch. Then you bring them to their porch and you drop the dog bags on the front door and go, hey, I'm sorry, you guys left these. I'm sure you wanted them back. Might go that route on that.
Yeah, that's one way. I mean,
You go that way first.
I wouldn't do that first. It depends on who it is. I mean, it could be.
Assume you don't know the person.
If you don't know the person, then it would be more of a verbal. Yo! Maybe a yo would probably just get it done. Probably wouldn't happen again. Right? Probably not. That's a concern.
I once had a dog. And I might be on the other side of that equation, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's bad business.
It's not a good dog owner.
I mean, that's bad business when you do that.
Handle your business.
I know. You're right. I don't.
Right?
Yeah.
If you have the dog, then you handle it.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
As a former dog owner myself.
Yeah.
Handle it.
You're right. I was not a good dog owner.
I had a big morning this morning. Old boy went 3 times. I had 3 bags in my hand when I was walking down that rail trail.
Gosh.
3.
So you got 3 bags and a banjo?
Well, I didn't know. I don't walk with the banjo. That's only at night.
Well, I thought every time the dog went to the bathroom, he had the banjo.
Nighttime to bring him in once he goes out for the last time. On the rail trail, I'm not walking around there.
So if the dog poops, you don't have the banjo, but if he has to take a pee, you have the banjo.
I know. When he's in the house, when he goes in the front, on the front of the house, I bring the banjo out. I'm walking down the rail trail. I look like little Jimmy Dickens out there.
He's saying that to you like that was a ridiculous question. He's the one that plays the banjo to make the dog go to the bathroom.
Exactly.
And you asked the ridiculous question?
I know.
I do not play the banjo to let him go to the bathroom. I play the banjo while he's out there wasting everyone's time.
I think we've established
Causation, correlation.
I think we've established causation. That your banjo playing.
I'll give you some causation.
What?
If you don't have your networking properly lined up in your place of business, you're going to have some dog doo-doo that you're going to have to deal with. Comex Business System comes in and gives a free, complete inventory and an accounting of where you are in your business when it comes to your networking. Are you safe? Is your information safe? That's your client information, your personal information. Could someone get in? Don't think it doesn't happen here. It happens here. Don't think this is just a big city thing. They are coming every single day. So ask the folks from Comex to come in. Completely free. You can just take the report. That's that. But they'll let you know where you're weak and where you're strong and what you need to do. Visit them at comexwv.com. comexwv.com.
What are you chortling about?
Pastor Holly in Elkview writes in. That strap's beautiful. That's going on the banjo. 3 guys. I agree with Tony. You can improve free throws mid-season. Huggins in a recent interview said Wellington Smith changed his shot after Christmas and was hitting threes against Kentucky. I once knew a guy that shot the ball with his elbow parallel to the ground. Shot nothing but bricks. I had him shooting one-handed, forcing him to put his elbow under the ball. He practiced against a barn, for he didn't have a ball hoop. And in a few weeks, he had a beautiful jump shot. Pastor, I don't know if that was the new form or if that was a miracle. Good work on your part.
Needed a peach basket up there.
Josh in the Twin Cities. Dispatch from enemy territory. I asked some of my coworkers and friends that follow the Golden Gophers, some of them even season ticket holders, their impression or thoughts on the bowl. For most of them, I'd classify as disinterested. They spent the majority of conversation upset that other Big Ten teams, namely Wisconsin and Penn State, that they beat or were higher in the conference standings were being picked for better bowls. Few, if any, were packing for Phoenix. but 12 inches of snow here Friday could have changed their minds. With that being said, how much of the interested or support for the matchup from the fan base can influence a team's performance?
Bowl game is hard to tell. I mean, I don't know how well it's going to attended it's going to be. I mean,
Well, this won't be attended well, but we've seen it both. We've seen the Sugar Bowl helped, right? That was fun. We've seen when Mountaineer fans took 193,000 people to Charlotte that year. Virginia pulled that stunt at the band that year. That didn't help that year.
Yeah.
That was as good a bowl atmosphere as you are ever going to find. That was absolutely bananas.
Isn't that interesting?
Bananas in Charlotte.
And I remember that because West Virginia had not been
right
for a couple of years. Rich was
Went
getting
on
it
that
going.
run. I mean, it was packed.
And downtown Charlotte was West Virginia.
Couldn't move anywhere trying to go to events without. I mean, the hotel was packed. The escalator was packed. Outside was packed. Everywhere was packed. That was an awesome bowl experience.
I think it was,
and it was a loss.
It was because of the 3 and 8 that they had experienced to come back and go to a bowl. That was a big,
And Charlotte.
It was a cleansing.
You can drive
But
there.
point being, there's no absolutes in this stuff, as we know. If fan support was going to help, that would have been a runaway win for West Virginia, and it wasn't.
Texter.
Matt Schwab.
Yeah, gosh.
Who was the running back? The running back was really good, too.
Yeah.
Wally Lindy or Lundy or something.
And the Heath Miller.
Wally was his last name.
Right? Heath Miller? Tight end?
Yes. What year was that?
Early on in Rich's tenure. So is that 03?
Yeah.
Gray and Marietta, if you had to pick 2 players that you think will step up and start helping Taz and Sean, who do you have and why?
To me, the 2 most likely additional scorers on this team would be Jalen and Malik Curry. I think there's a skill set. I mean, Jalen Bridges is the obvious one. The skill set's there, as we've talked many times. And then Malik Curry has shown some flashes of being able to get some points. So I think those would be the 2 most likely at this point, my opinion.
Malik Curry needs to regain his confidence.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a shaky handle. Last couple of games, you could see he's struggling. You can see it in his face when he's playing. He is not comfortable right now.
It was 2002.
2?
2048.
Rich's second year?
48, 22. Yeah, Matt Schwab. Al Groh was the coach.
Yep. Jumped us early. Trick play. I think I had a trick play in there.
Yeah, they had
too.
a trick play, which you knew was coming, and they.
Yeah. Heath Miller, right, Hop? Is he in the box score?
Yes.
Rich used to tell the story. He recruited Heath Miller, and Heath Miller wanted to be a quarterback. He said, I'm a quarterback. Rich said, no, I'm actually a tight end. I think Virginia said, yeah, you're a quarterback. As soon as he got there, you're a tight end. Blaine writes in from Charleston. Hello, 3, hopefully, guys. I believe I speak for everyone saying we miss Hoppy. Hope all is well with the retaining wall. After listening to Friday about the transfer portal, just wanted to throw a thought in. Do we not think this will always be an issue for West Virginia? If you aren't playing, why would you hang around Morgantown as compared to going to a warmer climate at a lesser school? Makes total sense, right? Like both of you said, the key is continuing to hit on the incoming transfers, which I think Neil and staff have done an excellent job so far. Trust the climb, people. Be prepared. Sink the boat. Blaine on the porch.
Wally Lundy.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Wally Lundy.
That's what you said?
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Wally Lundy. Yes, I saw a thing on the transfer portal. We were talking about that last week, the number of people. I did a little math. 30% of those that have left have gone to Power 5 schools. 30%. The others, group of 5 or nowhere.
Sure. And if you just did some quick rough math, that's probably what you'd find at West Virginia's transfers out as well.
That's what it is at West Virginia.
Oh, you did West Virginia.
Yeah, that is West
okay, I was
Virginia.
going to say that follows a pattern there.
That's exactly
But
what
listen,
it is.
just in the last 2 days, you've seen the starting quarterback at USC out. Bo Nix, a 3-year starter at quarterback for Auburn, out. I mean, this just happens. You could probably make the argument, and we'll have to see over the time if this plays out and has any truth to it, but if you're West Virginia, it's not a bad spot to be in if it's going to be like this, because your hope is the guys at USC and Georgia and Alabama that are multiple 5 stars, they're the ones that get there and say, I'm not playing. the guy for West Virginia that's not playing and transfers down to a group of 5, that's not the one you miss. So go out and mine those other guys, see if you can bring some dudes in that are unhappy where they are.
You could make a strong case. The success of West Virginia's program dating back to Don Nealon has been doing exactly that. I mean, we could do a list. We probably need to do a list. You want to start?
Well, we could.
You
could do an hour.
You want to start Jeff Hostetler? You want to start A.B. Brown? You want to? I mean, we can go down and down and down of great players that were keys to West Virginia having success, and I think that will continue. That will continue.
I mean, I've said it for years, and I'll continue to say this until proven otherwise. The incoming have been much better for West Virginia's program over time, and you can go all the way back to there if you want, versus the guys that have left that have hurt that you look back and go, dang.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Jennings and Dunbar, yesterday I was at the game, first time in person that I saw a coach get tossed. When was the last time you saw an opposing coach get thrown out? I don't know, Jennings. By the way, he says Merry Christmas. I don't have a recollection of an opposing coach getting a ziggy. Last time I think Huggs, was it all the way back in 10 when Huggs got thrown out at Connecticut? Was that the last time he got chucked?
Sounds right.
Sounds right. At UConn that time?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows. He's got that down. He knows how far he can go, though, without.
Oh, he knows these guys. I mean,
Wally Lundy had 239 all-purpose yards in that game.
Yeah, he was a beast.
Kirchhoff will get a little OC.
So I remember his darn name all these years later.
Kirchhoff will get a little OCD over there on Wally Lundy.
No, it just interests me. Like it triggered something. I think, well, I remember that game. We got whacked. What happened? I just remember the halftime. And Wally Lundy said he grew up in the shadow of Avon Coburn. That's what he said. And Avon Coburn was kind of held at 59 yards, and Wally Lundy had a big game.
I think there are those that would say that West Virginia's preparation for that game may have been a part to why it did not play well.
Reason?
Well, may have gone a little bit too hard physically in the preparation for the game, and guys kind of went out there with rubber legs and never had that same bounce that they had toward the end of the season. You know what I mean? Like you got to be really judicious in how you practice for these things. I wonder
if that was the game, too, where Rasheed Marshall was a quarterback for West Virginia. Didn't he tell us, Brad, that in practice somebody cracked him in the ribs?
That was a Gator Bowl.
Oh, was it Gator Bowl?
Gator Bowl.
Yeah.
Who was it that hit him?
Well, I don't know that we need to do that, Hoppy, necessarily.
What are you doing hitting the quarterback in the ribs?
Well, just trying to be fine. I would probably take it back if he had the opportunity, I would think.
Everyone wants to be a practice hero.
Yeah, Rich lost his mind on that one.
Yeah, Mike can understand why. Yeah, or I get why. Yeah, why not? Take
Offensive
a free shot.
Player of the year.
Said,
Offensive player of the year, probably don't touch him.
Rasheed said,
let alone break his rib.
I couldn't breathe.
Probably don't look at the offensive player of the year in the bowl prep, let alone break his rib. But, I mean,
yeah,
some things happen accidentally sometimes.
Three guys
Physical
before
the game, trying to make plays.
Not in practice.
Well, he wanted to keep his spot. He didn't want to get screamed
not
at.
by hitting Rasheed Marshall with his helmet in the ribs.
Trying to make a play.
Trying to make a play.
Yeah, he made a play.
Yeah, he made a play for Virginia.
Yeah, Rasheed still has trouble with his breath.
No, it was Gator Bowl.
Oh, Gator. Yeah. One of the 9 times we played Maryland.
Yeah, they all run together. Forget which one.
Three guys before the game, brought to us by Caesars Sportsbook. Download, get started. Risk-free bet of up to $1,001 in free bets. Do it if you haven't yet, people. Comax Business Systems, full service, Conicum and Ulta dealer. Go to Comax Business Systems at comaxwv.com. By Burdett Camping Center, they happen to be the only warranty forever RV dealer in all of West Virginia. Visit them at burdettcamping.com. And by West Virginia Game Changer, supporting, encouraging young people throughout the state to build healthy, addiction-free lives. You can help West Virginia families and children become a game changer. Go to wvgamechanger.com. Well, Kirchhoff made it through a whole episode without having to go pee.
How about that?
That's a step up.
There was a win in that bowl game because West Virginia got the Virginia's rally band disbanded. So that was a victory. It was a moral victory for West Virginia.
Yay. Special thanks again to David Sutherland for the banjo strap. Could take me into the world of Scruggs. Who knows? 90 days. So if I start playing that bad boy January, February, March, I could have a concert on the podcast in April.
We'll bring it in sometime anyway and give us a little claw hammer.
Yeah.
And bring your dog.
As Joan would tell you, very little
or
claw
maybe
hammer. Yeah. No, I can't bring Charlie in here. He'd be peeing all over the place.
It'll work right there.
That's my cue.
All right. For our producer, Taylor Kennedy, thanks for being with us. We're back Thursday to preview West Virginia and UAB. Plus, that will be the day after National Letter of Intent signing begins in football, and we'll have a recap on that. Any surprises? We'll find out. Three Guys Before the Game, episode number 337. Over, out. Thank you. See you.